it's not about just avoiding. Jesus didn't avoid.
No, definitely not.
Jesus spoke straight into the issue. He went directly into what was happening. Welcome back to another episode of the Everyday Joy podcast. I'm your host, Ash Couchman, and I cannot wait to find moments of joy with you today. I am so excited to be diving into the Word of God together today. Let's jump into the conversation. Welcome back to the podcast, Kate.
Hi, Ash.
It's only been a couple of weeks this time, which is nice.
This is so exciting. I love doing this.
Kate, fill us in on your life. What's been going on over the last, probably it's been a month and a half, maybe.
Oh, then you probably missed the whole journey of I rent with some housemates, and our lovely landlords are selling because their mother who owned the house has passed away. She died, and so, you know, it makes total sense. But then comes the
daunting task of moving.
So it's the part-time job I didn't want to have.
No, honestly, if you have a major life admin situation going on right now, we're thinking of you.
We're thinking of you.
Because anything beyond working, grocery, church, trying to catch up with friends, you almost need to take some days off work.
Oh gosh. Yeah. So luckily I have another housemate and I were quite motivated around that. So I reckon we went to 40 inspections over 4 weeks, something like that between the two of us. I think we applied for 6 or 7. What I was really encouraging was there was a lot of stuff available compared to the last time we moved where there was like 25 people at every inspection, and it was, we weren't fighting, but we were like, you know, we're all up for this same place. But we got a place, so we're moving. And hilariously, I actually haven't seen it yet, which happens often, but we got a bit of a video walkthrough and we trust each other to know what we're looking for. Hilariously, somehow the Lord knows. It's a pink house, Ash.
So
the kitchen
fun.
is pink. The carpets are pink. There's a huge backyard. There's a big entertaining deck. There's 2 baths. One big bath. You can have 2 or 3 people in there. Probably not going to happen. But anyway, I'm going to luxuriate in
you
that.
Can have a little swim.
A little triangle spa bath. And yeah, it just feels like a little step up. It's a really cool and interesting house. So that's, a huge.
And that's all the things you love. You love a pop of colour. You love entertaining. You love your garden. That sounds perfect.
Yeah. My biggest question, though, when I found out that we were moving, the first thing I thought was, what am I going to do with all my dirt? Because if you've been following along with me at any time, I'm a big gardener. I have like 6 garden beds with dirt that I didn't just buy from the store. I made it myself, Ash.
How do you make
dirt? I composted it. I gathered all the things. I made it hot compost. It broke down. I sifted it. I did all the things to it. And I made this dirt with my 2 hands.
What?
And the power of composting. And so I was like, I'm taking this dirt with me. So I found these sort of big 25-gallon grow bags that you grow potatoes in or whatever on Amazon, and I've just been able to, over the last 4 weeks, transfer all that dirt plus the winter plants that I had planted into that, so they can go with me, and whether or not I get the garden set up quickly, they'll still be able to grow. So
that's amazing.
That was my big challenge.
I can't believe you made dirt. I didn't even know that was humanly possible. And 2, that's so cool you can move it.
You can head on over to one of my other podcasts, Kate Does Gardening, which doesn't exist, but it should.
I was like, do you have a gardening podcast?
I wouldn't be surprised if I've done one in my sleep.
You put stuff on your socials, though. You've always got a good collection.
My
of
friend,
things.
though, said, Kate, if you're going to set it up from scratch, let's do a YouTube channel. So watch that space.
Okay. Well, I will be keeping an eye out then. Kate, let's jump into today's words to live by.
It's a doozy. Matthew chapter 5, verse 9. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God.
I love this. This comes out of Matthew with the Beatitudes.
Yep.
And so Jesus is doing his Sermon on the Mount and basically just spelling out to people, this is how you should live. And it's one of the most famous parts of the Bible, I would say, of how we should be living. And really, that's what Jesus came and taught us, didn't he? Like the law was there, the Jewish law was there, and Jesus comes and he goes, hey guys, you've almost got it, but let me just come and clear it up for you a little bit. It's not that he changes it, he just shifts the focus a little bit. And so in this, we've got this beautiful call to be peacemakers.
Yeah. It's a kind of cool thing to think, I can be a peacemaker. But when I was reflecting on it, what I kind of realized is usually what I am is a keeper of the peace.
Yes.
It's like, okay, I don't want to upset someone. And sometimes that could be people pleasing. Like I don't want to get someone upset or annoyed, so I won't do this thing. So for me, I end up shifting my actions or my attitudes or what I do to not bother people. And look, I'm sure there's no one else out there who does that.
No, I have a big problem with
we're
this.
big people pleasers. But I did a bit of Googling because I like to dive into something if I'm not really sure what it means. And so there was a working definition that I found on the internet.
Love it.
That it said that a peacemaker is someone who is actively seeking to reconcile people to God and to one another.
I love that.
I love it, and I feel so challenged by that.
Yeah.
Oh, Kate, I'm kind of missed it a little bit, you know, Ash, like speaking to myself of like, oh, Kate, am I just trying to make sure that everything's okay, that no one's frustrated, or that it's my job to like make everyone be calm, that if we're just calm and no one's upset or really emotional, then we have peace.
Yes.
Everyone's quiet doing their own thing. Is that it?
And I do think that sometimes as Christians that's what we've believed, right? Just don't talk about it, don't bring it up.
Don't make a fuss.
Don't make a fuss, don't ruffle feathers.
Yeah.
And look, there needs to be wisdom in the way that we go about things, and we need to pray and we need to be wise, and we don't say things for saying's sake. We do it because we want to reconcile and do these things really well. And I think a peacemaker isn't someone who avoids conflict. And I think that's probably what comes to mind. If you think about peace, you go, well, let's have no conflict. Let's not worry about it. Like, let's not talk about it. Let's not go there. But a peacemaker doesn't avoid conflict, doesn't just make sure everyone's comfortable. They're the kind of people that work hard at creating or making peace.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean you're responsible for everyone and everything. Don't put that burden on yourself. But where it's related to you, where it is in your control, we are called to do the work to make peace.
Well, when we were talking about this verse before we hit record, we recalled a moment from the last time we were on where I had seen this guy lose his mind about someone didn't even take his park, just passed him in the car park, and he got out of the car and he was yelling at him, and everything in me wanted to intervene. I wanted to say, whoa, what's up?
Chill out, brother.
Like, what's going on? This feels like a crazy result. And it all happened really fast, and then he got in the car and, you know, anyway, there's a whole thing. But I was like, God, what could I have done in that situation? And what was going on with that guy? But actually, as I reflect on this whole thing of being a peacemaker, maybe that was a little bit of my goal was to help to reconcile those two men together. There was something that happened, and I wanted to be a part of solving and sorting out that issue. And I think it's a beautiful thing that sometimes it's not about that I have an issue with you. It's just, Ash, hey, I noticed that you're having a problem with your friend, you know, can I help you with that? Or what can I do with that? One thing that I do have a really strong boundary in is that, let's say you came to me hypothetically and said, oh, Kate, this person's done this thing to me and this thing was going on. Actually, we did have a conversation the other day about a situation, and my response was, I'm super happy for you to tell me, but my encouragement to you is to go and sort it out.
Absolutely. And that's what you did.
I exhorted you to do that, and I probably will check in and say, how did you go with that? You know, do you want to pray about it before you go into that meeting, or if that's a bit hard or whatever? But that for me to be a part of this, my response is to exhort you to reconcile, and to talk it through, not just to be like, oh yeah, that person, blah, 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 but actually to say, let's see what we can do to resolve this.
Now that I reflect on it, the way that you helped me with that is one of the most God-honoring ways I think I've seen someone handle it, because it's not like you were like, don't talk to me about this, you can't tell me, like, I
don't want to be in the middle.
You listened, and I think that if you thought that I was being unreasonable, you probably would have kindly called me out, which is good and healthy. And then you did exactly that. You said, hey, what are you gonna do about it? How are you going to not avoid this, but actually do something about it? And I think you mentioned people pleasing before, and people pleasing, I'm still working on it, but people pleasing is one of the things I really, really struggle with. It's something that I've been talking to my psychologist about, because it actually brings a lot of anxiety into my world, because there's this sense of, if everyone is not perfectly okay with me, there is something wrong. And so I actually, when I'm looking at this verse, I have been a peacekeeper for so long, but maybe not well, because I think sometimes when you're a peacekeeper, not a peacemaker, people actually are far more likely to be upset by you than if you're a peacemaker. If you are avoidant, if you don't actually deal with the big issues, if you make a mistake but actually never do anything because you don't want to address the hard thing, like, I actually think being a peacemaker, although the initial conversation is harder, the long term is easier.
Yep.
And I've been stuck in the peacekeeper world for a very long time.
Yeah.
And, been working with a psychologist to try and get out of that, because it really isn't a healthy place to live. Hence why the Bible tells us to be a peacemaker. A peacemaker means trying to bring healing where there's division, reconciliation instead of revenge. It's speaking the truth in love, and it's reflecting God's character in difficult situations. So it's not about just avoiding. Jesus didn't avoid.
No, definitely
Jesus
not.
spoke straight into the issue. He went directly into what was happening. And obviously, again, we have to be wise about the ways that we go about it. But I'm trying to learn how to be better at being a peacemaker. If I'm concerned someone's worried about, something I've done or said, rather than avoid, and I get anxious and then I distance myself from that person, okay, just have a conversation.
Yeah, great.
How do I go about it? And you're very, very good at this, addressing things, going, hey, is there something going on? That's something that I think that you have done really well. But it's something that we're called to do as Christians. This isn't something that you go, oh, maybe I'll work on this. No. Like, this is what we're called to do. They will be called the children of God. That is God's character for us. But also it says, like, blessed are those. We're blessed when we do that. Not in a, maybe the worldly definition of blessed, but it means that there is a deep approval from God when we live this way.
Yeah, I think that's so good. And as we kind of wrap up this chat, I think there's two things that stand out that I want to reiterate. One that you just said there is that when you recognize there isn't peace between you and somebody else, there's that onus on yourself to be the person that approaches first.
Yeah.
And in the world, we say, well, they have to come and say sorry first. That's not the way that Jesus is asking us to live. That little shift that he talks about in the Beatitudes, a different way of living, is that we would be the one that we would humble ourselves, whether we're in the right or wrong. That's not it. If the goal is reconciliation and right relationship, then we will pursue that person to the best of our ability to resolve and reconcile with them. If they don't want to do that, then we can't make them, but we know that we've done everything that we can to be in right relationship with that person. That's the first one, to be that, to get over ourselves and go and say, Ash, are we okay?
Yeah.
I felt like maybe I said something funny or you were weird yesterday. Can we talk about it? Because the goal is there's something in between our connection. We're not quite connected, and I want us to be reconciled. So I think that's the first one.
Yeah.
And the second one is probably around that boundary when someone involves you in a situation that they have with somebody else, or even with God, a doubt that they have with that, is that we would then lovingly and gently invite them to say, what are you going to do about it? Hey, I'd love to listen. Can I pray with you? Maybe I have some suggestions about how you could have that conversation. I'll even be there if you want, some support, but to encourage them to pursue that reconciliation. I'm not the savior, and encouraging them to be the one to do that. And then if they don't, usually for me, I'd be like, well, then I don't want to hear any more about it. If you're not willing to do that, I don't want to be a part of this. This is not my responsibility. It's not my burden to carry. This is what I think is the best thing for you to do, is to pursue that. But otherwise, I'm out. But yeah, I know that if we recap the few things that we've shared there around being reconciled to God and one another, there is that personal responsibility that we do have to take. And I think God's asking us to do that. And that's how we are different from the world. That's how we live and respond and act differently from the way the world does. And that's how people's lives are transformed, is by seeing that there's a different way.
Love it, Kate. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of the podcast. I hope that it encouraged you, that it's helped you through, and that it helps to challenge you through the season of life that you're facing, uplift you if you're feeling down. And most of all, I pray that you're able to draw closer and closer to God. I'm so excited to keep diving into the Word of God with you. I pray you're able to find moments of joy.